Welcome back to our channel World of Coins, the place where we uncover hidden treasures in your coin collection. Have you ever wondered if that old coins could be worth thousands or even millions? Well, today's your lucky day. We're diving into some of the rarest and most valuable US coins that might be sitting right under your nose. Let's jump in and see if you've got a fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 1. In the world of American coin collecting, some coins carry more than just metal, they carry the weight of a legacy, the echo of a president, and the power of a nation's story. And among those coins, one stands tall both in size and symbolism, the 1971 Eisenhower $1 coin. This isn't just a piece of pocket change. This is a dollar that holds the honor of a war hero, the strength of a country recovering from turbulence, and for a lucky few, the potential for an eye-popping fortune. Today, we explore the mystery, majesty, and market madness behind the 1971 Eisenhower Dollar, a coin that could secretly be worth a life-changing amount. The year 1971 was a pivotal one. The Vietnam War was still ongoing, the Cold War loomed in the background, and the space race had just crowned America with triumph after the Apollo 11 moon landing. In the middle of it all, the U.S. Mint released a brand new dollar coin, a coin unlike anything the country had seen since the peace dollar ended its run in the 1930s. It was bold. It was big. And on its front, it proudly bore the face of a five-star general and the 34th President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower. This was more than just a monetary tool, it was a tribute. A tribute to Ike, the man who led Allied forces to victory in World War II and then led the nation through the 1950s with steady leadership and calm resolve. His portrait on the obverse side of the coin shows strength, dignity, and a stoic presence. Above him reads, "Liberty," to the left, the famous phrase, "In God we trust," and below, the date that starts it all, 1971. But this was no ordinary dollar coin. The Eisenhower Dollar was the first dollar coin minted in the U.S. since the peace dollar, and its return marked an important moment in numismatic history. Struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints for general circulation, and at the San Francisco mint in both uncirculated and proof formats, the 1971 Eisenhower Dollar quickly became a centerpiece of excitement, confusion, and fascination among collectors. The reverse of the coin is a thing of beauty. Designed by Frank Gasparo, it features a majestic bald eagle landing on the moon, clutching an olive branch, an homage to the Apollo 11 mission's insignia. Surrounding the image are the words, "United States of America," and $1, along with the motto, "E pluribus unum." This lunar design transformed the Eisenhower Dollar into not just a presidential tribute but a symbol of American exploration and victory in space. But what makes the 1971 Eisenhower Dollar truly exciting is its complexity. It came in multiple types, with different compositions. Most of the coins struck for circulation were copper-nickel clad, but there was a special collector's version, struck in 40% silver, minted in San Francisco. These special silver-clad coins were never released into general circulation, and they remain in high demand to this day. Within the 1971 Eisenhower Dollar series lies a treasure trove of varieties and errors that drive collectors wild. Among the most famous is the 1971 40% silver Eisenhower Dollar in proof condition. These were sold to collectors in blue or brown boxes, depending on whether they were uncirculated or proof. A perfect proof version, especially with cameo contrast, shines like a mirror and can be extremely valuable if untouched. The real chase, however, lies in the rare errors, those magical mistakes that somehow pass through the strict controls of the U.S. Mint. Some 1971 Eisenhower Dollars were struck on planchets meant for foreign coins or with improper metal composition, creating extremely rare and desirable anomalies. Others show striking errors like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or even missing layers. One of the most sought-after error types is the doubled die obverse, where the inscriptions and features on the front of the coin appear doubled due to a misalignment in the die hubbing process. These can be seen most clearly in the words, "Liberty," or the date, 1971. Coins with strong doubling in these areas are rare and often worth thousands. Then there are coins with improper metal content. A few 1971 Eisenhower Dollars were struck on experimental or misused planchets, leading to incorrect weight, color, and even sound when dropped. These oddities can often only be identified through expert testing, making them even more mysterious and valuable. Collectors also look for examples struck with extraordinary precision, high-grade specimens with deep, sharp features and flawless surfaces. These coins are often submitted to grading companies like PCGS and NGC, where a top score such as MS67 or PF70 can increase the coin's value exponentially. Adding to the mystique is the size of the coin itself. At 38.1 mm in diameter, the Eisenhower dollar is massive compared to modern coinage. Holding it in your hand feels like holding a piece of history, bold, heavy, and commanding attention. This size also makes it more prone to contact marks, meaning high-grade examples are far more difficult to find. Despite its grandeur, the Eisenhower dollar didn't gain wide popularity in circulation. Due to its bulk and weight, people found it impractical for everyday use. Most ended up in vaults, collections, or in the hands of curious coin enthusiasts. But as time passed, those who had the foresight to preserve them discovered their value increasing year after year. What's truly special about the 1971 Eisenhower dollar is that its full worth is still being uncovered. New varieties are being discovered by dedicated numismatists, and auction houses continue to showcase record-breaking sales for rare versions of this coin. From small-town coin shows to international numismatic expos, the buzz around the 1971 Eisenhower dollar never seems to fade. Even casual collectors have stories of discovering one of these coins tucked in a drawer, inside a relative's collection, or hidden in a vintage coin bag. All it takes is one glance, one coin, one discovery to realize that something extraordinary is in your hands. That if you're just entering the hobby, the Eisenhower dollar offers an amazing opportunity. It's large, affordable in most cases, and full of possibilities. You can start with circulated coins, then move on to higher grades, proofs, silverclads, and finally chase the rarest varieties and errors. Coin dealers around the country keep a sharp eye out for certain features in the $1,971, particularly ungraded silver versions in pristine condition, or copper-nickel issues with dramatic errors. These coins can quickly rise in value, especially when authenticated and slabbed by professional services. The market for rare Eisenhower dollars is growing. As collectors look beyond older coins and search for affordable yet profitable finds, the 1971 Eisenhower dollar remains at the center of attention. It's not just its size that attracts interest, it's the perfect storm of history, design, variety, and value. This coin has survived decades of change, outlived the presidency it honored, and remained a giant in the world of U.S. currency. Its design speaks of patriotism and pride, its condition tells the story of how it was handled, and its rarity can turn a single coin into a fortune. So, the next time you come across an Eisenhower dollar, don't just toss it aside. Examine it. Weigh it. Look at the mint mark, the luster, the edges. You might just be holding more than a coin. You could be holding a secret, a relic worth far more than you'd ever expect. Because among the many versions of the 1971 Eisenhower dollar, one particular coin, blessed with an extremely rare mint error and preserved in breathtaking condition, stunned the collecting world when it was sold for a staggering total of $195,000. Top 2. In the world of American coinage, few coins strike as bold a presence as the Eisenhower $1 coin, especially those minted in the early 1970s. Among these heavy, silver-toned beauties lies the often overlooked but absolutely fascinating 1972 Eisenhower dollar. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary dollar, just another coin from your grandparents' drawer or a forgotten piece buried in a coin jar. But hidden in this simple coin is a treasure trove of history, complexity, and rare value that can shock even seasoned collectors. The year 1972 was an intense time for America. The country was in the final years of the Vietnam War, the space race was still fresh in everyone's minds, and the nation was caught in an emotional balance between progress and reflection. So, when the United States Mint released the 1972 Eisenhower dollar, it wasn't just another coin, it was a symbolic representation of strength, resilience, and honor. What makes the Eisenhower dollar so iconic is its sheer size and presence. Larger than almost any other coin in modern circulation, it's a bold piece measuring 38.1 mm in diameter and weighing in at over 22 grams. When you hold one in your hand, it doesn't feel like change. It feels like a piece of history. And in 1972, the Eisenhower dollar wasn't just big in size, it was big in significance. The coin proudly displays the face of General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and the Supreme Commander of Allied Forces during World War II. His portrait is stern yet dignified, with "Liberty" arched above and the words, "In God We Trust," standing solemnly to his left. Below, the date 1972 anchors the coin, a year etched in both metal and memory. On the reverse side, the design is nothing short of breathtaking. A fierce yet graceful bald eagle is depicted landing on the surface of the moon, clutching an olive branch in its talons, an image inspired by the Apollo 11 insignia, which had become a proud symbol of America's dominance in space. It's a coin that bridges the glory of wartime leadership with the awe of cosmic exploration, all on one shining surface. But while the design alone is enough to capture attention, it's the coin's varieties that truly send collectors into a frenzy. You see, in 1972, the Philadelphia Mint accidentally struck 3 different reverse designs. These are known as Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3 reverses, and finding them, especially in high grades, is like discovering treasure in plain sight. The Type 1 reverse is the most common, with a rough-looking earth and fewer clear details. Type 2 is the rarest of them all. It features a smoother earth with fewer islands depicted, a mistake that makes it extremely valuable today. And Type 3, which corrected the flaws of the previous versions, became the standard for later issues. Type 2, however, is the shining gem, the version that few people ever come across and even fewer recognize in time. Many people have had a Type 2 Eisenhower dollar in their collection without ever realizing it. It's that subtle. The design differences can only be spotted by a trained eye or someone willing to take the time to compare details, like the shape of Florida or the lines on the Earth's surface. But once spotted, it can mean the difference between a common coin and a jackpot. Even more fascinating is that the 1972 Eisenhower dollar was minted in both clad and silver formats. The clad coins, which are made from a combination of copper and nickel, were intended for general circulation. Meanwhile, a select number of 40% silver versions were minted for collectors at the San Francisco Mint. These were never meant for circulation and were instead packaged in blue envelopes for uncirculated coins and brown boxes for proof versions. The silver versions, especially in pristine proof condition with no scratches or contact marks, are highly sought after. When these coins feature deep cameo contrast, frosty raised elements against a mirror-like background, they fetch top dollar at auctions and collector marketplaces. Combine that quality with the rare Type 2 reverse, and you have one of the most prized combinations in all of modern U.S. coinage. Then come the errors, those beautiful accidents that the U.S. Mint never intended to produce. Off-center strikes, double dies, planchet errors, and clipped planchets have all been discovered among 1972 Eisenhower dollars. Some of these coins show dramatic doubling on the inscriptions or Eisenhower's face, while others were struck on the wrong metal planchets altogether. Each of these mistakes adds rarity, value, and excitement to the already fascinating coin. Grading is also a crucial part of determining value. Coins graded by NGC or PCGS, the 2 most trusted grading services, are evaluated based on their strike quality, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. A 1972 Eisenhower dollar with a rare reverse, pristine surfaces, and a high grade like MS-67 or higher can skyrocket in value. Even coins in lower grades can bring surprising prices if they contain one of the rare reverse types or known errors. Collectors often underestimate how challenging it is to find high-grade Eisenhower dollars. Their size makes them more susceptible to nicks, dings, and scratches from circulation. And because they were not widely saved by the public in the early 1970s, many surviving examples today show heavy signs of wear. So how do you know if you have a valuable 1972 Eisenhower dollar in your possession? First, check the mint mark. A small D indicates the Denver Mint, an S means it came from San Francisco, and no mint mark means it was struck in Philadelphia. Then, flip the coin over and study the earth on the reverse. If the continents look flat and the islands are missing or indistinct, you might just have that coveted Type 2. If you're unsure, don't panic. There are resources and forums online where collectors will help you identify the variety. You can also submit the coin to a grading company for professional authentication. The peace of mind and potential payout make it well worth the effort. Stories have emerged of collectors who purchased unsearched rolls of Eisenhower dollars only to discover a rare Type II reverse among the mix. Others have stumbled upon a proof silver version tucked away in a family member's collection. The excitement of discovery is part of what makes this coin so magical. Even coin dealers keep a close watch on their 1972 Eisenhower dollar stock. The possibility of owning a Type II or mint error drives up the curiosity and value. It's not just another dollar, it's a challenge, a mystery, a puzzle waiting to be solved by someone like you. As time marches on and fewer untouched examples remain in the wild, the value of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar continues to grow. The more we learn about its varieties, minting errors, and history, the more it cements its place as a standout in American numismatics. So, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned collector, this coin deserves your attention. It teaches you to look closer, to ask questions, to explore the fascinating world behind the coins we often take for granted. The next time you see a hefty Eisenhower dollar from 1972, don't just toss it in a drawer. Inspect it. Hold it up to the light. Look for signs of rarity. Because one day, that ordinary-looking coin could turn out to be worth a staggering sum, just like the extremely rare 1972 Eisenhower dollar that stunned the collecting world when it sold for an unbelievable total of $190,000. Top 3. In the heart of American coin history lies a story that has quietly dazzled collectors for decades, one that many have overlooked until now. We're talking about a bold, commanding, and powerfully symbolic coin, the 1974 Eisenhower $1. This coin is not just a piece of metal. It's a historical artifact. It's a tribute. It's a treasure. And for those who dare to look a little deeper into its story, it may also be a gateway to discovering rare and life-changing value. Today, we're about to unveil the mystery, the rarity, and the rising demand surrounding the Eisenhower dollar of 1974. The Eisenhower dollar made its debut in 1971, but by 1974, it had fully matured into an iconic piece of American coinage. Bearing the portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Supreme Allied Commander in World War II and the 34th President of the United States, this coin was more than currency, it was a salute to a national hero. But 1974 marked a year of unique minting runs, interesting varieties, and a growing numismatic obsession that only deepened over time. From the very first glance, the 1974 Eisenhower dollar demands attention. The obverse shows Eisenhower's stoic and determined profile. His image was carefully sculpted to show both strength and peace, a fitting symbol for a man who led during war and governed during peace. Surrounding his portrait is the proud declaration, Liberty, along with the motto, In God We Trust, and, of course, the date, 1974. Flip it over, and you're met with one of the most majestic reverse designs in U.S. coin history. An American bald eagle hovers above the surface of the moon, clutching an olive branch in its talons, a reference to the Apollo 11 mission patch. This was America in metal form, exploration, ambition, and peace through strength. Every element of this design was chosen to stir emotion and pride. The 1974 Eisenhower dollars were minted at 3 major locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck at Philadelphia carry no mint mark, those from Denver are marked with a D, and San Francisco coins show the elegant S. The San Francisco versions include both uncirculated and proof strikes, and it's the pristine conditions and rare variants from all 3 mints that have sparked fierce interest among collectors. Though tens of millions were produced, finding one in immaculate condition, especially those never circulated and showing full detail and shine, is like stumbling on buried treasure. Most were heavily used in everyday transactions or stored carelessly. Over time, their surfaces scratched, dulled, and wore down. So when a coin surfaces that still glows with its original luster and shows not a single blemish, collectors take notice, and they pay handsomely. What really ignites the fire in the 1974 Eisenhower dollar story are the error coins and rare die varieties. Coins with double dies, off-center strikes, or struck on the wrong planchets can be worth a fortune. These are true one-of-a-kind finds, and the 1974 series has a few known examples that have made headlines in auction houses. Collectors know the thrill of spotting those subtle details that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. A shifted mint mark, a die crack, or an overpolished die, these are not flaws but opportunities. They transform a coin from common to coveted. And 1974 Eisenhower dollars are fertile ground for such rare anomalies. San Francisco proofs are another major focus. These were specially struck with mirror-like fields and frosted devices. Their beauty is unmatched, and many remain in original government-issued packaging. But even among these, the finest examples, graded PR70, are incredibly rare, and their value has surged as demand for perfection increases. The Eisenhower dollar also holds a unique place in numismatic history because it was the last large-size dollar coin issued by the U.S. Mint for general circulation. Weighing in at a solid 22.68 grams and measuring 38.1 millimeters in diameter, it's a hefty reminder of a time when American coins were bold, solid, and unapologetically grand. By 1974, the nation was in transition. Political tensions, economic uncertainty, and societal change made their way into American life. This coin, minted in that very year, captures a moment in time. It feels like a farewell to one era and a hesitant step into the next. That alone makes it special, but when it comes to coin value, it's what's hidden beneath the surface that really counts. As collectors expand their knowledge, they realize how underappreciated the Eisenhower Dollar series has been for years. That underappreciation has created opportunities, because now, as awareness grows, prices are climbing. Coins that were once passed over are now being submitted for grading, and those that return with high scores are fetching premium prices. It's not just about age, it's about condition, rarity, and demand. And right now, all three are pointing to the Eisenhower dollar as a hot target for investors and collectors. The 1974 issue, especially, is gaining traction as collectors complete sets or hunt for elusive high-grade examples. Coin shows and online auctions now feature 1974 Eisenhower dollars with surprising price tags, especially when they are graded MS-66 or higher. And the reason is clear: fewer and fewer of these coins exist in top condition. Time has taken its toll, and those that remain pristine are getting harder to find. The weight, the design, the heritage, it all adds up to a coin that's impossible to ignore. Whether it's in a presentation case, a slab from a grading company, or sitting quietly in someone's inherited collection, the 1974 Eisenhower dollar continues to surprise and impress. Even casual collectors are starting to dig through their old change jars or coin albums, hoping to spot the signature details that could mean they've been sitting on a valuable gem all along. That sense of possibility, of mystery, is what makes coin collecting such a passionate and rewarding pursuit. The value of the 1974 Eisenhower dollar continues to rise not just because of rarity, but because of story. Every coin tells one. And this one? It speaks of leadership, exploration, and a time in American history that was both turbulent and inspiring. Holding it feels like holding a piece of that era. One of the most exciting discoveries came when a coin, flawless in condition and stunning in its original strike, was verified to have an extremely rare production anomaly. After grading and intense collector bidding, this single coin sold for an unbelievable sum, one that changed the conversation around 1974 Eisenhower dollars permanently. And that sum? That one-of-a-kind 1974 Eisenhower dollar sold for an incredible amount of $180,000. Top 4. The world of coin collecting is full of thrilling discoveries, and every now and then, a piece of currency rises above the rest to capture the imagination of collectors everywhere. Today, we turn our attention to a powerful and often underestimated treasure, the 1979 Eisenhower $1 coin. At first glance, it may seem like just another old dollar, but trust me, this coin holds mysteries and potential worth that could shock even seasoned numismatists. So grab your magnifying glass and settle in, because what you're about to learn might just change the way you look at pocket change forever. The Eisenhower dollar was never meant to be just a coin, it was designed to be a statement. It represented American pride, historical honor, and even technological ambition. Named in tribute to General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces in World War II and 34th President of the United States, this coin carried with it a story of power, leadership, and legacy. By 1979, the Eisenhower dollar had already made a name for itself throughout the 1970s. Introduced in 1971, it was the first US dollar coin issued since the peace dollar ended in 1935. But 1979 marked a turning point, a closing chapter, as it was the final year this iconic coin would be struck for circulation. That made the 1979 issue instantly more meaningful, not just to history buffs but also to serious coin collectors. The obverse side of the coin features a bold profile of Eisenhower himself, staring with fierce determination and calm authority. Around the edge, the word "Liberty" stretches across the top, while the motto, "In God We Trust," rests just under the curve of his neck. And of course, the date, 1979, sits proudly at the bottom, a reminder of the era that birthed this last great dollar before the design was changed forever. Flip the coin, and the reverse side is where the true magic happens. A stunning American eagle, its wings wide, descends gracefully onto the surface of the moon. In its claws is an olive branch, a symbol of peace and strength. The design, inspired by the Apollo 11 mission patch, doesn't just honor Eisenhower, it captures the very spirit of American achievement in space and science. There were two main types of Eisenhower dollars minted in 1979, those struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and those from the Denver Mint. You can tell which is which by looking just above the date. A small P or D mint mark reveals its origin. But while millions of these coins were made, only a select few were preserved in pristine condition, and that's where things get interesting. Coins that were never handled, never circulated, and kept in their original government packaging are the ones that collectors crave the most. And with the Eisenhower Dollar's large, exposed surfaces, finding one without scratches or bag marks is an extreme challenge. The hunt for high-grade 1979 Eisenhower Dollars has become something of a numismatic adventure. Now, let's talk about the thrill of rare varieties. The 1979 Eisenhower Dollar may not be known for having a wide range of types, but there are some key errors and rare die varieties that can dramatically boost its value. One such example is a coin with a double die, where the lettering appears slightly overlapped or shadowed. These errors are a result of mistakes during the minting process and are prized for their uniqueness. Other highly sought-after pieces include off-center strikes, where the coin's design is noticeably shifted away from the center, or even coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. While these errors are rare, they're not impossible to find. And for collectors who spend time checking rolls of coins or old mint sets, the potential reward is more than worth the effort. Over the years, more collectors have realized the importance of the 1979 Eisenhower Dollar. Not only does it represent the end of a powerful coin series, but its size and weight, the last of the truly large dollar coins, set it apart from anything that came after. It has a presence that smaller coins simply can't match. Part of what makes the 1979 Eisenhower Dollar so intriguing is its place in time. It came at the end of a decade full of change in the U.S., from space missions to political upheaval to rising economic uncertainty. This coin is a physical artifact of that turbulent but iconic era. In the collector's market, condition is king. A coin graded mint state 65 or higher, with full luster and razor-sharp details, becomes significantly more valuable. And for the 1979 Eisenhower Dollar, those top-condition coins are rare, because so many were used in circulation and showed signs of wear quickly. Let's not forget about the proof versions as well, coins minted with a mirror-like finish, intended for collectors. These were struck with special dies and more care, giving them an eye-catching shine and flawless detail. Proof 1979 Eisenhower Dollars are still being discovered in forgotten government-issued sets, quietly appreciating in value over time. Collectors also love the story this coin tells. It's not just about Eisenhower or the moon landing imagery, it's about the transition from big, bold coins to the smaller and lighter ones that came afterward. In fact, after 1979, the Eisenhower Dollar was replaced by the Susan B. Anthony Dollar, which was far smaller and never quite captured the public's imagination. Today, the 1979 Eisenhower Dollar represents a crossroads in American coinage. It's a bridge between old-school boldness and modern practicality. That, combined with its historical symbolism and physical beauty, makes it a centerpiece in many collections. Collectors and investors alike are increasingly paying attention to the Eisenhower Dollar series, and 1979 stands as a final hurrah, a last call for a coin that had ruled the dollar denomination throughout the decade. It's not just metal, it's a symbol of strength, history, and change, rare finds continue to pop up in estate sales, coin shops, and online auctions. The excitement of possibly holding a rare error or a perfect specimen keeps collectors energized and always searching. As awareness grows, so does the coin's value. Demand for high-quality, error-free examples is rising. And with fewer of these coins surviving in top-grade condition, the prices continue to climb, especially for those with special traits. This is why, if you ever stumble upon a 1979 Eisenhower dollar, don't let it go without a second look. Examine its details, check its condition, and research its mint mark. You may just be holding a small treasure in your hands. For those lucky enough to find a coin with all the right qualities, unblemished surfaces, rare errors, and historical significance, the reward is more than just sentimental. One particular 1979 Eisenhower dollar, preserved in immaculate mint state condition and boasting an extraordinary minting anomaly, stunned the coin community when it sold at auction for a jaw-dropping amount of $155,000.